The shape of the circular ruins are all very specific. None of them are the same. And they look like cymatics. And they're very unique because each circle represents the geometrical shape of sound energy. So these frequencies, if any of you heard about the sound sand plate experiments, which I'll show you a video of very soon, these are what comes out from playing different tones and frequencies. These are the type of formations that it makes. So it seems like they were just a depiction of what the frequencies of on Earth coming out of the ground. The theory is that these weren't even created by humans, but some sort of technology made it that the rocks came out of the ground that emanated the frequencies of the specific area. And you can see here, whoever knew about this has some sort of advanced understanding of mathematical equations and geometry. And it's believed that, well, it's actually been discovered that there are ancient gold mines underneath these structures that show evidence that these structures may have been utilized in an ancient gold mining operation. And being 75,000 years old, and South Africa having connections to Sumeria and the gods of the Anunnaki gods, the theory is also that these gold mines these structures were energy generating devices for gold mines that were underneath the ground for the Anunnaki to take and mine gold and take it back to their planet. And you can see here, for some reason, all these structures love to align with Orion, right? Here we go again, something aligning with Orion. And a lot of these structures are on ley lines, once again. The frequencies in this area for these stones go into the gigahertz levels, over 380 gigahertz, which is unheard of for anything on normal applications on Earth. So this looks like this vanished civilization had a keen understanding of energy that still escapes us today. And if that's not enough, in these stone structures are these stones. These stone structures, in the walls of the stone structures are these stones that you can see an image of Michael Tellinger right here holding one of them, that are lodged into the walls of these stones. But it seems like when you extract these stones, they have these beautiful harmonic frequencies that ring like a bell.
Quartzite that's underneath, and that's how it rings. I can actually feel my fingers underneath are deadening the ringing because I'm holding it and it's deadening some of the effect. There we go. That's better. That's what you want. You realize that this thing really rings like a bell and it reverberates for quite a long time. Alright, and now to show you that this is not the only one, here's the other one.
So, ancient acoustic sound instruments inside these stones, not only do they resonate frequencies, the actual stones resonate gigahertz level of vibrational frequencies, but the stones that these things are made out of that are lodged into the walls actually have their own bell-like sounds as well, which is extremely interesting. So now we're going to move on to a place called Hampi, India. Hampi, India is located in South India, and there's this beautiful temple there called the Temple Vitala, and is dedicated to the deity Vitala. And you can see, here's the temple. It's a bigger complex than this, and there's the location in India. And this is kind of some more of the architecture of the area. Is amazing. So the deity Vitala is actually a hybrid being that incarnated on Earth. And this hybrid being, you know, if you know anything about Hindu scriptures and Vedic scriptures, Vishnu has come down multiple times to Earth, and Shiva as well. And there's three creative forces, the Trinity, just like in many ancient religions and texts. We have the Brahma, we have Shiva, and we have Vishnu. Vishnu and Shiva have come down multiple times. Vishnu's come down as Krishna, Vishnu's come down as Rama, and then Shiva's come down as Hanuman, and also many other beings. So this being is actually a hybrid of the two of them. So Shiva and Vishnu both have sound connected to them somehow. Shiva, it's known that Shiva has a drum, and you can see his drum right here. on his trident. Shiva has a drum that makes the sound Om. So he makes the drumming sound, the sound of the earth and the beat of the heart, and this sound comes out to Om. And then Vishnu has a conch that he does I guess she, because he's both, right? He does that resonates the sound Om as well. So they're both using different instruments, but both of them are creating the same note of Om. And together, Shiva plus Vishnu equals this deity right here below, Vitala, whose temple this is. So the Vitala temple in Hampi was constructed by King Devarya II in around 1442 CE to 1446 CE. And there's something there called the musical pillars of the Ranga Mantapa. It's like the main attraction of the area. The large Mantapa is renowned for its 56 musical pillars, and these musical pillars are also known as the Saregama pillars. And here we're going to take a little, watch a little video here of these sounds. So these pillars are designed to imitate the sound of different instruments. So you just heard one pillar there, but there are pillars that sound like drums, pillars that sound like string instruments. But the interesting thing is that no matter what instrument it sounds like, each pillar follows the exact same notes of the Indian classical scale. So in the Western world, we have the solfeggio, but in the Eastern world, we have the Saregama scale. So, and the Saregama scale happens to coincide with the chakras from the lowest chakra to the highest chakra. So whoever made these not only made different pillars that sound like different instruments, but each one of them had the same notes connected to the Saregama Indian classical scale that connected just to the crown chakra. So it seems like that when you play these pillars, or when sound comes through there, or when it rains and all of the sounds that resonate, it's a journey from the root chakra to the crown, which makes perfect sense because it's a place dedicated to Vitala, which is about connecting heaven and earth. So these pillars were designed to connect us from the root chakra and take us to this place of divinity while people were worshiping there. When the British went to India and they discovered the temple, when they went and discovered the temple, they cut open some of these pillars to try to figure out what is making these sound. Every single pillar looks exactly the same inside of it, just rock. They couldn't figure out at all how the engineers made these pillars to sound like these different instruments. So, and that's still out today. Scientists still haven't figured out how these pillars can make these different sounds. So here's the Saregama scale, and you can see how these connect to the chakras. We start at Ni, which is the root chakra, and we end at Sa, which is the crown chakra. So now we're moving into one of my favorite sites, which is Palenque. My wife and I have, we spent 2 years traveling about a year ago now, I guess. We moved into Portal Ascension headquarters, which is where I am right now, PTA headquarters, in April. And before that, we were traveling for 2 years. And while we're traveling, we had the opportunity to go to many ancient sites that we talk about and many ancient sites that our speakers talk about as well, and do some studies and tests for ourselves. We've been to the Yucatan 3 times in the last 3 years, and we're going to be in the Yucatan in November this year for the first ever Portal to Ascension international tour where we're taking a group of 10 people to ancient sites in the Yucatan for a week. We get back the day before Thanksgiving, and for probably the most epic event that I've ever created in my entire existence of creating events, where we're going to get some insight on a lot of ancient sites and also hang out with some local Mayan descendants. So the 2 times that we went to Palenque, we discovered that it's much bigger than what has been excavated. What you're looking at right here is maybe a quarter of what's been excavated, but what's been excavated is not even as anywhere near how much has been unexcavated. So if you look behind where the jungle is, right? So these huge trees that are truly epic, and then the jungle on the other side, there is about 1,400 pyramids and temples unexcavated in that jungle. 1,400. There's so much there that they can't even, like, it's been so overgrown, it would take so much time and effort to excavate them that they have just left them alone. So now if you go to Palenque, you go down 2 routes. You go either into the jungle for a walk and you can walk over pyramids and see stuff, but most of them, all of them actually unexcavated, but you can walk on it, see the stones and all that stuff, or you can go into this excavated portion and take a look at it all. So what we did last time is we took a hike in the jungle and went over some of these pyramids and took a look at them. So before we get into the sound connection of Palenque, I'm going to show you this video here of Sol and I in the jungle of Palenque hiking over some of these pyramids.
Stairs of a pyramid, and you can see it because it elevates.
¿Cuántos pirámides templos?
1473.
1,473 unexcavated pyramids in this area right here, and here's one of them. Wow! Just wonder what's inside these things.
You talked on that thing.
You can see the steps right there of the pyramid. We're like halfway up it. We're about to go higher. So we're climbing up the steps of an unexcavated pyramid now. Oh, just rained the last 3 days, so it's extremely slippery.
Entonces estas piedras son so these rocks are actually pyramid rocks.
So Palenque was a central hub for trade, commerce, diplomacy, and foreign affairs. Many different ethnic groups were represented here, may have been an area for global affairs and great minds to share ideas. The next thing I'm going to show you is going to be basically some evidence that there were many different cultures that came to Palenque. And what it seems is that the main structure that we're on top of in the next video was specifically for all the intellectuals, scientists, mathematicians, and astronomers that lived and worked in this building. There was like basically a city hall where they would all get together, like a congress even, and they would discuss matters and create what then became the Mayan Empire and Mayan civilization. We have discovered, we discovered an area, well, it was already discovered, but somebody showed it to us, that there was an area there where basically there is a hieroglyph of a dragon from China. There is a hieroglyph of a chakra symbol from India. There is a hieroglyph of Egyptian with their headdress on.